Well, we are moving on to a really important part of our coursework now. Prior to this, we've really spent some time in working behind the scenes, if you will, doing our experimentation, doing our exploration. And now we're really getting to the point where we have to self-manage and start really executing what it is that we've learned. We've done it in an informal manner, but now we really need to make it more formalized. And it's going to come really at the part of telling your story, your personal history, and representing yourself in such a way that really resonates and really connects to the most important person that we've been working up to, the employer. So we're really going to spend some time better understanding why is this story so important and why is it asked of me in really a variety of ways. Someone might say to you, tell me about yourself. They might say, what brings you here today? Or they might come right out and say, what is your story? It all means the same thing. And what they're asking you is, how can I better understand who you are as an individual, as a professional, in a real bite-sized type of way? Not a real lengthy type of way, but just like any great product goes to market, it hits you very, very quickly and makes its point, and then it's gone. But yet it still stays with you, and you still remember it. Keep in mind any type of advertising or anybody who's made an impression on you in your past, and really use that level of awareness to make yourself more effective. Now, please keep in mind that when you're telling your story, there's quieter people, there's sensitive people, there's outgoing people. Everybody doesn't have to represent themselves in the same way. You have to do what's comfortable for you. If you're acting, an employer can sense that immediately, and they are incredibly uncomfortable with anybody that they feel is being artificial or saying things that they just want to hear or think they should hear. So be very, very wary of that. Again, we've worked to this point to get you in your natural and organic state. So why your story? And I know when people come in and interview with me, they always think they do such a great job representing themselves. And it's heartbreaking how many times I have to say that you're telling your story in such a way that may suit you and what you want the employer to know, but does it really suit them? Does it start to set up a connection or some type of relativity that really allows them to see very quickly, this candidate may be speaking my language. They really might have something that I would be interested in. So again, think of a good movie that you've seen and how the introduction was something that really stayed with you. If you saw a preview or a trailer, how the body of it was very sequential and succinct, and it followed a very streamlined pattern. And the ending represented itself in such a way that left some type of finality, whether we liked it or not. So as we start to really embark on this, I want to get away from our traditional storytelling thought process. Oh, of course I know what they're looking for. They want to hear about my experience level. The answer to that is no. Like everything that we've taught you up until this point, that's how most people believe. That's what your competition believes, but that's not what an employer is looking for. They're looking for that individual who can represent themselves in a holistic manner. Not just their skill set, not just their background, but really brings to the table their soft skills, their ingredient level, and very, very importantly, their strategy. Has what they've done made sense? Has it connected in such a way that an employer can follow? Or are we giving them information that really is going to make them nervous or apprehensive because we're so unaware of what their thoughts and feelings are? So be very, very careful of that pitfall. Introduce yourself in a way that, again, with a smile, with a connection, that really, really starts that one-on-one. Like so many people have read and written about, you make a first impression like that, very, very quickly. So you need to do it in such a way that says to an employer, here is a confident person speaking about themselves in such a way that, you know what, I'm interested in hearing more information about. You go right from there to really now having scripted and memorized your work history in such a way that once delivered makes sense to an employer. Even if there's a hiccup in it, even if there's a mistake you've made that you dread and hope that you're not asked about, don't worry about that. There's no employer worth its salt that hasn't made a mistake. I always tell my career counseling students, you can't compete with the amount of mistakes I've made in my own business model. Get over that. Admit it. If you took a job that potentially didn't work for you or in your future, have you learned by it? Have you grown by it? That's the type of information that an employer is looking for. Not pushing it under the rug only to find out in a background check or some other unprofessional way. So have your major portion of your background prepared in a very sequential type of way, just highlighting, like any president or CEO of a company would, about how you've grown and the different experiences that you've had. Not driving down into details. You don't need to do this at this point in the interview process. This is an overview of who you are as a person. Again, think commercial, think soundbite, if you will. And our ending has to really be focused about the connection that you're now making to the employer and really educating them as to what brought you here today. So as you are finished really highlighting your experience, it's very natural for you to say, that's why I saw ABC Company as an organization that I had a great interest level in, because I'm really looking for that next step in my career level that allows me to use my, again, XYZ skills. So you've gone full circle, you bring it back to the beginning, and they understand in totality as to who you are as a person, what brought you here today, why you are interested in this position, and most importantly, how can you help me?